That's all. I don't remember much. I can tell you for sure. Nielson and Brotherton. And I'm the only one that's still alive. I don't know. Brotherton died here a few years ago. And of course, Nielson died during Tet. After Tet happened and John got killed, I think I need to have a copy of John's movie of when we went out with the Koreans. Just something to remember him by. And of course, at the time, I never had any idea about the internet and YouTube and all that stuff. And now with that, I thought, well, see if I can get this on YouTube as a kind of a memorial to John.
In the field, you see the yellow smoke. That's a big signal for a helicopter. That means that's where the landing zone is, and the pilots look at it to tell which way the wind's blowing, so we land into the wind. We call these Hueys, we call them slicks. And you notice he's coming to a hover, and that's because the ground's uneven. He doesn't want to set it down. He's afraid he might hit a rotor on something. And what they're throwing out is sea rations, canned food for the troops to eat, along with some fruit. These are members of the Korean Tiger Division. We had a very good impression of the Koreans. They were very good soldiers.
Yeah, we didn't bring our own stuff as far as sea rations and stuff. We ate what they had.
You see, that's about the altitude we normally flew. We flew high enough to stay away from small arms fire, but not too high. There you see the smoke. They had covered smoke, different colors of smoke, yellow, purple, white. But if you saw red smoke, that meant danger. You can't land here. He didn't land there because he didn't like that LZ, so you see him pulling up and leaving. And you'll see now, the next picture, you'll see that you're in another LZ. They moved to another LZ. See, that's a different LZ. This is better for him.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what to expect, but geez, when we got out there, they were great guides.
I don't know. I can't think of anything that you could say, any shortcoming that the Koreans had. They were very good. I mean, they were in their element, and they were used to it, and they knew who the type of people they were fighting, and they were just good. I always felt sorry for the guys on the ground. I think I enjoyed flying, but the people on the ground had it tough.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I doubt that it turned into dinner, but you never know. And every time I went out, nothing happened as far as any kind of shooting. So you just look for stuff that looks visually interesting and take pictures. I don't know how else to say it.
Of course, we were always tied to their operations, and we could talk back and forth at any time. And so now you see the aircraft are coming in. We call that trail. When they follow each other, one like that, they're in trail. Here we go, coming in again. See, he's coming down to the ground if he can, because he's got troops on there.
They were crazy guys. They were in good shape, and they did their taekwondo. And I remember this guy basically said, "Watch this." And the next thing I knew, his foot was about a foot from my face. Shit, I didn't even see him jump hardly.
I was in the 403rd Transportation Detachment, okay, which was, the maintenance organization for the 180th. And so, you know, the Chinooks were on, like every 25 hours, we had to pull some maintenance on them. Probably one of the best things we had was the oil analysis program, picked up in the oil flow by these magnetic chips, okay? And they would trigger a chip light on the instrument panel in the aircraft.
We had 16 Chinooks, and then we had one Huey. Huey was just a command and control ship. It was usually 5 people, pilot, co-pilot, 3 door gunners, and maybe two flight engineers, or maybe just one. Big windy.
We would kind of know the day before if we were going to be on a flight the following day, okay? And generally we wouldn't know until late that night where we were going or anything, okay? Sometimes we didn't know until that morning. From the planning perspective, you know, they knew days in advance. Me as a pilot, sometimes not till that morning did I know where I was actually going to go that day.
When we were out in the Dingles, we didn't have artillery with us. That was all back at the base camp down by the South China Sea, wherever, near Quinyan.
You notice when you're sitting around, everybody's smoking. They all smoke because they got cigarettes in their C rations, and you know, something to do, so they all light up a cigarette.
The ROK people sometimes have a liaison officer with the battalions, not the companies, but the battalions. And so they'd lay on these missions.
They're planning what they're going to do next. Yep, that's just exactly the way they did it. 105 howitzer. Now that's another. A Chinook can carry a 105 howitzer.
Yep, we did. That's what Chinooks did all the time with fireback. We moved some troops, but mostly moving artillery. Koreans, well, I would say they were real fighters. I'd never been to Korea, but every time I was visiting a unit, they were really tough soldiers.
Slicks and guns and big birds. What we call them. Slick was just a Huey, and the gunships were on a Huey frame, and they had all kind of firepower. And then the Chinooks just had door gunners. They didn't have any armament to speak of. Now, see, that might be 129. See that nose cone, that white on the nose cone? That's the 129 Bulldog, I think. Now, I don't know why they're lining up like this. I guess they just had plenty of room and they were secure, so they just brought them in that way. When they're loaded, it's a little slower getting taken off because they got to get transitional lift if they're loaded.
In something like this, when you have multiple helicopters, okay, they might want the Hueys to land in one place and the Chinooks to land in a different place.
We're in formation here. We're flying formation on the aircraft on the left, and look how close we get. That's a good, tight formation here. See, but we love to do that. We love to fly formation. We like to. There's your yellow smoke. Here comes Big Windy. He'll blow away the smoke.
Usually we don't go near their tents because that's tents. The big windies can blow those tents over. And if it blew over a tent, it might get tangled up in your rotor blade. You know, the door gunners were on the left and right of the doors, and then one guy was in the rear.
You know, from our standpoint, in watching this film, you know, was, okay, here's your mission today. you're going to this location to pick them up, and you're going to take them here, and you're dropping them off, and that's it. You're done.
And here's what I don't like about being on the ground. Here, look what these guys have got to go through.
No bitching, no whining. Of course, I don't speak Korean, but these guys didn't appear to be. Of course, whether their language showed it or not, I couldn't tell you, but their body language didn't show it.
And then as went through this, as they went down through here, it looks like they went and found some cave complex down where they were crawling all down through the rocks and stuff. They found some a fire that apparently had been built maybe by the VC, and I think they found a mortar.
Some officer, I think, has taken that case off of that mortar round, and that's appears to be an American mortar round. But the way he's taking it apart, it looks like they found it and they're checking it out. Me and John and Brotherton were taking a bath in the river, and here come about a half a dozen Koreans, and they were coming to go fishing, but their fishing rods had pins in them. They were fishing with grenades, so we decided bath time was over. But the guy I took the picture of, he's a grenadier. I can't say his name. Chang Sang Sun, 8th Company, 10th Cavalry Regiment, Tiger Division, ROK. I didn't take a lot of pictures home like some guys did. I remember somebody on the internet saying, somebody said, "How'd you get so many pictures?" Well, I took one for me and one for Uncle Sam and one for me, and I didn't think to do that. So, and this climbing up this hill was pretty much the end of it, as I recall. Well, yeah, up on the hills, it was blowing like crazy. Felt great. Felt like an air conditioner. I forgot that I had that I was in there at all until I saw this thing. But my whole thing was trying to remember going out. I didn't think I'd ever forget, but over 50 years later, it's pretty tough, man. I'm surprised what I don't remember.